Welcome back to another episode. Today's topic is abundance. This is part of the Wealth Vocabulary series. Abundant, if you remember, is a term that I prefer over safe. And the reason I prefer it over safe is when we think of safe, we're not taking chances, we're not taking any risk, or we're assuming that we're not taking any risk. But the risk itself is based on the decision that we make to choose to be safe. And when you're safe, you sort of just kind of avoiding the world. You're kind of pushing everything away, and you try to stay, let's say, within your circle of sameness in order to stay safe. And that's really big on mindset. But if you really look at what safety actually is, are you really safe if you say you're in the same circle? Sometimes you need to think differently in order to actually increase your safety. And one primary piece with that we talked before was, let's say, the safety of a job. That's not really something you're 100% in control of. It's really your employer and the economic circumstances and a bunch of different things. So we're going to break that down a little bit today as far as what is abundance and what that should mean for you. All right. So when we think abundance, there's something that comes to mind, and it's called opportunity cost. And I'm going to explain what that is. But we're going to break it down into opportunity, and we're going to break down into cost. So when we look at opportunity, opportunity exists everywhere. Consider it to be just the resources that we have, on this earth, not for the entirety of everyone that lives here, but let's say just for you. If you were, in the position and you needed water, let's assume that's an abundant resource source for you. For the fact that you're just not scrounging to actually get a little bit of water, that you just have as much water, as humanly available. So let's say you have running water, you have a spigot. Anytime you want a glass of water, you just put your glass under, and there you go. So that's what I mean by ubiquitous, or everywhere. So opportunity exists everywhere. You just have to know what to look for. When you do have an abundance of opportunity, you recognize that, then all of a sudden, there's nothing stopping you. Opportunity is everywhere, and opportunity is everywhere. What that does is that increases your generosity. It puts you in a growth mindset. So you're not thinking of, oh, I have to hold back all this water when you could easily get a glass of water for someone else. All right. So that growth mindset is very important because that allows you to get outside your circle of sameness. This is the mind essentially creating opportunity for you, or creating the ability for you to recognize opportunity. What it also does is eliminates fear. So when you're in an abundance, if you're looking to have some water, you know exactly where the water is, and you have your expectations of that. And so you're not in fear of, okay, well, what if I run out of water? Well, you know where to get the water, the spigot, right? And what that also does is that reduces stress because you're in an environment that's comfortable. Now, there may be some aspect of sameness there, but what that does is that removes something from concern for you. So you might look at that and say, oh, well, you know what? I'm safe because I have plenty of water. But there's some other pieces to that we're going to dive down into. The last piece that I wanted to mention on that is there's a replenishment. So in other words, when you drink the water, there's still more water there. There's not this aspect of scarcity. So anytime you think of opportunity, think of opportunities replenish themselves. There's always going to be more opportunity side. And the other side is cost. So there's a cost associated with anything that you do. The first thing is making a mistake. So let's say you're a big risk taker and you have some outcome that you weren't expecting. You could consider that a mistake, but at the same time, you might be very conservative and not take any risk. But that could also in itself be a mistake. It's really you have a repeated mistake, something you do again and again and again, and it's not serving or benefiting you. What's the cost of that? What if you had a bad teacher? What's the cost of a bad teacher, right? Now, let's say it might be kind of rough to have a bad teacher for a year, but what if you had bad teachers all throughout school? What would that mean for your bottom line when you got out of school, right? If you start asking better questions, that's how something you can sort of bypass and avoid and recognize that, okay, that is bad information because it doesn't solve the challenge that I actually have. What is the price of a bad decision? Bad decision really depends on the consequences. How severe are the consequences of the decision you're making? And have you taken all the information that's available to you in order to make the best decision? And then a missed opportunity. Well, remember I told you opportunity is everywhere. Again, in some cases, that might be a very long time. So it's important to recognize how valuable and how rare an opportunity actually is. And then last but not least, time is a consumable resource. your time especially, you will never get back. So, and you put that together, you have opportunity cost. And when you combine something that is abundant in opportunity and something that in its aspect is scarce as far as the cost of, let's say, not making a decision that's aligned with your goals, that could set you off for days, months, years, if not your entire life. So bring the two together. And the whole idea is, do you have your goals? Do you know what your goals are? Because when you do, when you make decisions when it comes to which opportunities to take and what costs you're willing to accept for those, then you're going to be right on line with that path of where you're going. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let's talk about abundance and opportunity cost. Hopefully you will make sure that opportunity is not something that you miss, and you'll come by, check me out, find some more information that can help you align yourself with your goals with EscapeTheMonopoly.com and KnivesOutWealth.com. I look forward to catching you on the next episode. Bye.